Good morning, everybody. It's bright and sunny out here in Colorado. About 11:19 a.m. on the East Coast, where Adam is, joined by the locally renowned, famous 1067 voice, Wizards expert. He has his own podcast. You work at Podville, right?
I'm at Odyssey now,
Oh, no
full
way. Good
time.
deal. We'll
Yeah,
get into that too. Joined by Adam Epstein, also known as AWOD on the Junkies. You can go ahead and give yourself a brief intro, and then we'll jump into the Wizards here.
absolutely, man. You guys can hear me on weekends on 106.7 The Fan. I'll be hosting next Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Give you all NFL preview, talk Wizards, maybe some soccer as well, and all that and more, bro. And you can follow me at AWOD Radio on social media.
Awesome. So when you say soccer, you get into EPL and or do you get
Oh
into
yeah, I
everything?
love it. I get into everything: EPL, Champions League, Bundesliga, a little bit of MLS. I'm disappointed DC United didn't make the playoffs,
Yeah,
but I'm a Chelsea fan, and so we just won 3-0 today. We're on
nice,
fire. We might be the hottest team in the world.
good deal. All right, man. Let's jump into these Wizards. So the coach, man, he's the coach he's the son of a legend, but I feel like he definitely got this job on his own, or earned it on his own merits. Um, what do you think of him and what he's brought to the team this season, as far as just stepping up their defensive intensity and all that, just the overall change in atmosphere?
It's a home run hire. It really is. I mean, uh, there's so many aspects of it. I love that he's the son of a legend. I love that he earned it. And you're seeing that. That's the number one thing I noticed is I feel like we're playing like the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I've watched a lot of Nuggets basketball
Yeah,
the last few years. It's ball movement, it's defense, it's don't shoot the first open shot. Make sure you shoot the best open shot. And
yeah,
the biggest thing is that I've noticed is it's the right people shooting the right shots. We're not having Ish Smith and
absolutely.
Raul Neto check up threes. It's Kyle Kuzma. It's Contavious Caldwell Pope. It's Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie. We're making the extra pass, and they're taking shots in rhythm. Man, his offense it's night and day compared to Scott Brooks and his defense. I mean, the guys are hustling. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the offense. It does actually look like they're running a system this year, as opposed to Brooks. You have Beal come down, take his shot. When Wall was here, Wall come down, do his thing. Just
Yeah.
the hero ball, as opposed to it looks like they've got a streamlined system, and I feel like that's helping them on the defensive end as well. Just more of a scheme. And as far as the defense goes, right now they're number one in the league in 3-point defense, and number five in overall defense. Um, what do you feel has been the biggest difference outside of coaching? Do you think personnel, or just did West just bring that attitude?
It's the attitude, it's the personnel. It's like defense in the NBA is all about hustle and effort. I mean, and also a big thing is like personnel, like Gafford for a full season here.
Man,
That's an impact even when he's hasn't been healthy. Montrezl Harrell, you bring in Montrezl Harrell, that guy like speaks defense. That's all
yeah,
he gets his points on offense. He does his thing, but really he's offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, and guarding his man. And my favorite thing about the defense this year is like you've seen Wes Unseld Jr. is vocal on the sidelines.
heck
The
yeah,
big thing I always talk about on my show is with Scott Brooks, the other team would go on a 10-0 run. He would sit down and say, we'll play back into it. We got the stars. We'll run. We'll hit some threes. Wes Unseld Jr. is calling timeout after 2 straight buckets, and he's yelling at these guys and
yeah,
saying, get back on defense. And that's making a huge difference. Bradley Beal is scoring 10 last points this year, but he's playing better defense. And I mean, that's huge. And Wes Unseld Jr., his
huge.
quote, I believe, to the Junkies was, if we get one more stop every quarter, that's 8 points a game. That's a huge difference. And it sounds like it's not that much, 8 points, but that's exactly what's happening. And
Yeah,
those 8 points are reflecting on the scoreboard at the end of the game. It's turning into W's.
no doubt about it. So Brooke, well, I guess seeing your coach, seeing that he actually cares about defense, I'm sure makes a huge difference. And then personnel too. Montrez just bringing that energy. I heard, when Brooks was here, they spent like the last 5 minutes to practice on defense. That's not going to get it done. And then he's showing during the games he doesn't. He's just trying to outscore people, and that led to a sub 500 record during his time here. Um,
Yeah.
Switching gears to the offense, Bill has been in and
One more
out.
thing. One more thing on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
defense,
yeah,
though.
definitely.
Uh,
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I've noticed, and
Mhm.
I'm sure everyone watching the game notices this, it's like the timeliness of the stops in the
Yeah,
fourth quarter or at the
yeah,
end of regulation or at the end of the third quarter. We're getting stops that is like stopping momentum. And then the stops are also leading to the offense where it's helping us get on fast break. Wes Unseld doesn't like us to run as much as Scott Brooks does. So it's important that we get those stops to set up good offense.
Yeah, but they've got a whole lot more length on defense too with Trez and his 7'4" wingspan. Kuzma is length, and then the backcourt of Dinwiddie and Beal, that's more size than they've had too. So all these things are just leading to a better overall defensive game plan. And then switching gears to the offense, Beal has been in and out, and I feel like even with him missing some time there, they haven't really missed a beat. These past two games that they've lost, he played in the second of the back-to-back, and Dinwiddie was out. But they still showed some intensity, even though they fell. And they've got the Heat coming back up here. Is that tonight? That's tonight.
It is tonight.
So
Yeah.
they can get some revenge there. What do you see tonight as far as they've got them at home? So what do you think their chances are? I don't know if Hero is still out, but
I think Hero will be back, but Dinwiddie
okay.
will be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully Gafford will be back. And I think this is, I'll be honest with you. I hate this new thing by the NBA of doing home and away. They're trying to bring a playoff atmosphere to the regular season. It's not working. The fans are sick and tired of seeing the same team. It's like Jimmy Butler pissed me off 2 nights ago. Now I have to see him again. Like, damn it. Bam Adebayo is a huge mismatch for Montrezl Harrell. That's the one thing the first time I've seen him really struggle all season. Bam is just lengthy and he's got offensive moves. But I think we bounced back because of the addition of Dinwiddie. That was huge in the lineup. Aaron Holiday, who's been productive this season, only had 4 points, and Neto had 0. So if we can get some production from the point guard position, that's going to be huge. And on the offensive end, I just can't get enough of how many guys love to pass when they're open. Shots that people would have shot last year, but they know if I can swing it to a guy who's in rhythm waiting to shoot it, that's going to go down. And then Denny Avdia is making a couple shots here and there. Kispert made some shots last game. And so we've got so many, we're deep. We're not top heavy anymore, relying on Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook to do all the scoring. It's coming from all these different guys. And I will say, I don't think, look, we're 10-5 right now. I think we're going to be closer to 500 as we get towards the All-Star break. But we got to take it 10 games at a time and just try to go 6-4, 7-3 in those 10 games. And we'll stay in there because the Eastern Conference, it's looking different than anyone expected right now at the start of the season. Sixers, Knicks, Hawks, Bucks are all below us. The teams above us, Chicago, nobody expected that.
Yeah, DeRozan has made such an impact there.
And
then Vucevic too. But I had some other things, and I'll circle back to those. But since you brought up how the East is looking this year, I'd like to go ahead and jump into that. I'm sure the Sixers are going to make a move here at some point to get rid of Simmons and bring in another key piece. You've got the Bulls, I think, tied with us or over us, and then the Nets are, of course, going to be there. Do you think the Wizards need to make a move in order to hang with these teams, or do you think once they get fully healthy, they've got what it takes to make a run at the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think we're probably a year away from Eastern Conference Finals. I think we're a playoff team, and I think the move we make is to get healthy, like you said. Bertans, Rui, Thomas Bryant, those are 3 guys that can really make a difference.
Heck yeah.
And man, if Rui plays really well, we could sneak into an Eastern Conference Finals or at least a second round of the playoffs. But those 3 guys need to be huge. And so I wouldn't say make a move. I would say, hey, this is the first season with Wes Unseld Jr. Make ourselves a destination for guys that are trying to revamp their career again. Similar to Spencer Dinwiddie. There was a lot of teams that wanted him this year. And a lot of teams were too scared to take that shot because he was coming off an injury. We'll see how he continues for the rest of the season, but he's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and I loved him with the Nets. I used to rib my coworkers. We need to get this dude. Who was Dinwiddie? I never heard of him, and he was kind of inconsistent there because they didn't use him the way he should have. But he was always such an aggressive scorer, and then his size helped him out on defense too. So I loved them picking him up. Just makes such a big difference with his size and aggressiveness. Takes some pressure off of Beal. Like you said, his scoring is down like 10 points a game, but the team is playing better. And I think they were like 0-16 or 2-16 or something when Beal had to score over 40. So when he had all that pressure on his shoulders, it hurt him and the team. So just being more well-rounded. You brought up a name in there in Kispert. He's been a little off with his shot this year, but his form looks so good that I know once he just settles in, he's going to be a deadly threat on the outside for them. And then Denny.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Kispert. I need him to bulk up. Too many times,
Yeah.
I get it. He's a 3-point shooter, but too many times he's gone to the basket and like pump faked, and they just rip the ball away from him.
Yeah.
That can't happen in the NBA. Same with Denny Avdia. As great as he needs to bulk up. Rui needs to bulk up. These young guys, they come into the NBA. And Kispert was supposed to be the most NBA ready player in the draft. I disagree. He's not as athletic as a guy like Duncan Robinson, so he has to hit those shots, or else, he's kind of lost on the court. He's had a few bad games this year already, and he's had maybe 1 or 2 good games.
Yeah, and Denny, another guy you brought up there, and he definitely does need to bulk up to help his offensive game. But I think his defensive rating right now is number 1 on the team, which is another shocker. And that just shows that even though he's a little slight right now, he's just bringing the effort on that end. And that, again, gets back to coaching, I'm sure. They're just getting that attitude in the team. Yeah.
I think it also goes to, playing defense in the NBA is so stupid. Like, the way they call things and the way the offense, a lot of the offense, it's there for the offense to take it to you. When you look at Denny, is he really playing that good a defense, or was he just staying in front of Giannis and keeping his hands up and not fouling?
Yeah.
Because some of Giannis was putting himself in positions to shoot tough shots just because Denny was keeping his hands up. And it's around the NBA, it's that's all you got to do sometimes. And sometimes guys get over aggressive trying to reach or go for the big block and they foul you. Just stay in front, keep your hands up, and then draw charges.
Yeah, especially when you've got length like that guy.
Yeah. Right.
The other night he was standing in front of Butler on a few plays, but on one, Kispert came over and got in his way and kind of set a screen for Butler, and he scored. So that was kind of frustrating. But I can see that he's picking it up on that end. So we've got a little bit of a West Coast swing coming up. 3 games on the road out west. I've been saying that talent has gotten them this far as far as their record, but the coaching will really be proven on the West Coast trip. As far as that goes, how do you think they'll fare with these 3 games coming up? And then in early December, they've got a 4-game swing. They're starting out here in Denver. So this is really going to tell the test. It's going to be the test of what this team really is.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the schedule now. At New Orleans, that should be a win. At Oklahoma City, that should be a win.
Oh, yeah.
Then the two teams in Texas, Dallas and San Antonio, those are going to be the tough parts of that road trip. But I think if you have momentum from the first 2 games, you should be all right. New Orleans is a team that they should have beaten us earlier this season. We had that crazy comeback. We'll see how they are health-wise when we face them. Brandon Ingram's a monster. I have him on my fantasy team. So, I know he's going to go off. But, man, it's just one of those things. I actually think the Wizards are now playing defense. That's a given thing. Every game we're going to play defense.
Yeah.
We got to score more. The last 2 games we've been under 100 points. Now it's looking at the offense and being like, hey, we got to hit these threes. You can't go 4 of 39 like we did against Charlotte. The ball movement's there. We're getting the right shots. Just got to hit them. We've gone through a bit of a cold streak.
Harish wanted me to bring up something to you. He was talking about Rui last night, and Rui's about to start training again this coming week with the G League team. He was saying with so much depth at the 3 spot, do you think they should look to move him coming off this injury? I don't. I love his talent. Early on, he kind of reminded me of a young Kawhi on both ends of the court. Do you think they should look into moving one of those pieces since they're so deep at that spot?
No, but I think what you mentioned is good. He's going to play with the Go-Go, and I think he's going to not just practice with them. I think he's going to play a few games to try to get into shape. And I was talking about this on my show a little bit. The G League is different this year. Lance Stephenson versus Brevin Knight the other night. Players that were actually in the NBA and game changers. I loved Lance Stephenson for a few years in the NBA, and I still think he's got talent.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing with the NBA now where they give these younger guys a shot. And I believe me, I have so many things against the NBA. It's the reason I love college basketball. I can't stand how coaches will just throw out the second 5 and they'll just say, our backups are better than your backups. They never do a combo anymore of Beal with the backups. It rarely ever happens. And so because of that, you see guys get kicked out of the league and then make it back because they play a different role on another team. For example, Gary Payton II, right? Little glove. I saw him play personally. He played against VCU in the NCAA tournament his senior year. I went to that game. He killed us. I mean, he was everything, balling, shooting, dunking. And I was like, man, this guy's going to be a star. I thought he maybe rookie of the year. He did nothing his first 3 years in the league, bounced around. Now the Warriors are like, hey, second unit, you can score, you can defend. So anyway, that's a long way to say keep Rui, let him play with the go-go, and then work his way into the lineup. I would almost play him as a 4 rather than a 3.
Agreed.
I'd like to play him a little higher up and against more power forwards, and that way he could use his athleticism.
Yeah, and that was more his role in college too. He was playing more on the block than he has been in the league. He's been working on in the league. He's been developing the 3 and the mid-range shot. I like to see him more down low too. He's got the game because he showed it in college, and the NBA size-wise is not what it used to be. I think he can do some damage down there if they gave him a shot. We're going to take a break here real quick and jump back into this. We're going to take 5 and then come right back. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll be right back. And we're back. Still here with Adam Epstein. We're going to start jumping into some NFL, other DC sports things that are going on. First thing I want to touch on is we've got the Panthers coming up here for the Washington football team. Homecoming for Ron Rivera. Cam's getting back on the field. What do you think is going to happen in this game? I've got some thoughts. I want to see what you think.
I mean, I think Ron Rivera's legacy is on the line here in Washington. If he loses this game, there's going to be people not only calling for his job, but calling for it sooner than later. I think people are also going to say, hey, Ron Rivera, you're an idiot. You should have gone after Cam Newton. Quarterback's still an issue in Washington. All that being said, I got Washington winning this game. I think this defense is different than it was at the beginning of the season. Even without Chase Young and Montez Sweat, they're playing better defense. They're getting off the field on third down. Taylor Heineke's kind of found something in this offense where he can run and scramble and pick up the first down when it's third and short. And he can also throw the medium routes, and hopefully we can get some running game from Antonio Gibson. That was key in the victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm saying playoffs. There's a sweat for Washington. If we could just win this week and then beat Seattle, I mean, things are open with 5 division games to end the year.
Yeah, man, their schedule coming up, even with Seattle, they don't strike the fear that they used to. I think they're definitely beatable. This game, I think, is really their toughest test just because Ron Rivera's going back. That's a lot of pressure. Cam is getting back out there. I know he wants to show that he still has it. I've never been a Cam guy, but I've always been a nostalgia guy. And even though it wasn't that long ago, I like seeing him going back. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen in this game, how he's going to ball. I put money on Washington, though. Like I said, I see it's a must win. I think this can be the turning point in their season towards the playoffs, like you said. I think they're going to get it done, and they're +3 too. So I thought that was an easy money there. Hopefully that'll turn out.
Why aren't you a Cam guy? Is it because the drama he had in college when he got kicked out of Florida and he's throwing laptops out the window, or is it from the NFL?
I mean, all that stuff would be easy to jump on too, but really it's just strictly his play as a quarterback. With my brother being a receiver, I looked at just the way quarterbacks played, and I thought he hung his receivers out to dry a lot. And I don't like quarterbacks like that. Tom Brady said the roughing, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties when defensive backs lay out receivers, that shouldn't even be a penalty because it's not on the DBs. It's on QBs to not throw receivers into those spots. So when I see QBs doing that, turned me off the Cam big time because I wouldn't.
That's a good point. That's a good point, man. I see he trusts his arm strength too often, and he throws into tight windows.
Yeah.
And you're right, man. Some of his wide receivers get hit, and then a lot of them have been out for seasons because of that, right?
And I hate seeing that, so that just turned me off to him. But like I said, I like to see him go back and succeed there, just not this week. So
yeah, for real.
Harish, how you doing, man?
I'm so sorry, Adam.
Here he is.
I don't know the laptop for some unknown reason. I have to use my wife's laptop. I couldn't use mine.
Hey, whatever works,
my
man.
wife finally. Yeah, I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting. I do apologize. This is not our normal show, so please don't take it like we're kind of unprepared or any kind of snap.
It's all good, man. I'm having a good time.
Hey, Adam said he knows. He said he knows how this Zoom thing goes. It happens.
Yeah. I was producing during COVID. I was producing 5 shows a week, all through Zoom for ESPN The Undefeated. And sometimes, bro, I'll tell you, you ever heard of Bomani Jones? Don't
Yeah,
ask Omani Jones to redo an interview. He will scream at you. All right, that's a fact right there.
Yeah.
I'm
Sounds
not
like
a
guy
big
like
fan of I'm not a big fan of Bahami Jones, but I can tell like he's not a very he's not a very easy individual to work with.
Yeah, he said, "You want me to repeat what?"
Yeah, but thank you. Sorry if I cut in a little bit about Cam and stuff. I'll let you guys finish
Yeah.
and I'll chime in.
Let me grab my charger real quick so we don't run out of time.
Good deal.
Awesome. Good deal.
Yeah, we're going to take a break while we get these technical issues sorted out. We'll be right back. And we're back. We've got the technical issues sorted out. Sorry about that, guys. And Harish is going to jump in here with his thoughts on the upcoming game this weekend between Washington and Carolina.
So as we were recapping, Adam did say that if Washington does lose this game, it's going to be, people are going to call for Ron's head. And I have to agree, because at the end of the day, with Cam at quarterback, it's going to be a very dangerous Carolina offense. You have to watch out for two things. I think they're going back to their old run and gun kind of offense where McCaffrey will go get his yards, and then Cam was going to throw the ball in tight coverage. That's the only way we can win. But with Cam Newton at the helm, back in Carolina, back with the coaches he knows, he can kind of dictate the game. And with the Washington's defense, the issue with that is now you don't have your edge rushers. You don't have Chase. You don't have Montez. And even the guy from Penn State, Shaka, without him, it's like we have no edge. Our linebackers, I mean, German Davis, I mean, I love him to death, but he's still a rookie. And Cam, knowing that he's a veteran, he's going to try to exploit that as much as he can. And if Ron doesn't come back and beat Carolina in Carolina, I don't want to hear the news for a week. I'm just not going to hear it because it's going to be really, really bad. But in my humble opinion, they have to play the game like they played against Tampa. They have to play a perfect game. Everything has to click. They can't be. They have to. If there's a turnover, they have to score. They have to score on their first drive. They have to score when they're in the red zone. They can't take field goals. If it does come to a kicking game, I do like Sly. He's better than Blewett, a lot better than Blewett. If we had Blewett, if we had Sly in Denver, we would have won. I said that in our last podcast.
Let's not get carried away.
That's 6 points. That's a 6-point swing.
I'm kidding. The Broncos are trash.
Well, it's more than 6 points. It's the momentum, dude.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about this on my show. Like when you have a kicker that's missing field goals at the beginning of the season, it was Dustin Hopkins. I think there was a lot of confidence lost in the defense and on the offense. Yeah. Like when you miss a field goal in the middle of the game, it's demoralizing, right? Mm-hmm. It ruins all the momentum. It's so hard to bounce back. Then you got Blewett, and it's like, oh, wow, he can hit a 52-yarder, and then everything he kicked got blocked. And you know the guys were thinking in the back of their head, screw this, let's go for it. Let's not let him kick it. And then with Sly, man, I think there was a confidence level for the defense. It was like, hey, let's get the ball back to them and just get to field goal range. A bunch of field goals will win the game, and so I feel the same way here. Let's just get to the red zone. If we get to the red zone, let's try to get in the end zone. But if we get to midfield, let's get to field goal range. And I think a big thing for Washington is anytime Carolina scores, we got to go right back down the field. We can't let them score and then we go 3 and out. And then they've got momentum and their playbook is wide open because that's where they'll get us. But I think the big thing is if we just stop the run game, make Cam throw it on us. I mean, because he's got a laser arm, but a lot of times it gets tipped. And then that's where we could have a game-changing turnover. We got to stop McCaffrey. And then third and shorts are going to be difficult because I know they're going to like QB sneak and his big body. He's going to get those. So we got to get him to third and longs.
It'd be really funny if we just stop one. If we just stop one QB sneak, I'll be like, you know what? Momentum has come our way, and we can probably – and I think they're still high off the Tampa Bay game because, as you said, Adam, the momentum is coming. And I believe if they have that same mentality – going into the Carolina game and not taking it for granted, saying that, hey, we got to come here and play that game like we did against Tampa, because Tampa is like maybe the gold standard, I think, for the season right now, is because they played like as well as they could play. I mean, all facets were clicking, momentum shifted their way, and they kind of had that urgency to be like, you know what, we have to like beat Tom Brady. If they come in with that same kind of mentality, they can probably they can pull out a win, and I have a feeling that they will. That's just me being a homer. I always kind of.
If this were any other team coming off that win, I'd be worried about a letdown game. But with it being a homecoming for Ron Rivera, with Cam getting back on the field, both teams are going to be hyped up to the peak. I mean, they're both going to be bringing it. I think the Washington football team needs to bring the same defensive game plan that Miami showed against Baltimore. Stack the box, put them all up there, go zero coverage, and make Cam beat you. This is his first game back. If he comes out there and beats you, give it to him. But I'm putting everybody up to stop the run.
So do you feel that's a risk almost? You just say, hey, just stack the box for the first, let's say, couple of plays, see what he does.
All game. If Cam beats you, they deserve it.
Yeah, the thing is, I would be worried about our secondary throwing up some pass interference, like a game-changing 45-yard pass interference call on a 3rd and long. That's what would worry me. But I think you said it right, man. We have to play a perfect game. Like, this team is not that good. We're missing Logan Thomas still. That's a huge part of the offense. We don't know what we're going to get from Curtis Samuel. I don't even know what's going on with De'Ami Brown. Cam Sims got a sighting last week, but he's been inconsistent this season. Honestly, our best player besides Terry McLaurin has been DeAndre Carter. So I'm saying, how the hell do we get him involved more, right? But we really do have to play a perfect game. But I think it's possible. I think we can play a perfect game. We created it was ugly against Tampa Bay. I wasn't a fan of that last 19-play drive. We felt like take a deep shot or something, but it worked, and so I think we're going to get a lot of mixture of that tomorrow. Do
you feel that with Carolina's defense, which is pretty they're top 5 in the league, if I remember? Yeah,
they're great, but again, they've only played. It's because of who they've played. Gotcha. Here's one thing I talked about on my show today. This is a crazy stat. It's destroyed Carolina this season. Look at it. They got killed by the Cowboys, killed by the Eagles, killed by the Giants. If we lose to them, fire Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? If the NFC East can beat them, we can beat them. We're the NFC least.
What the funny thing is, Adam, when I was driving to Walmart, I was hearing your show when you were talking to God, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden?
Logan Paulson.
Logan Paulson, right? Yeah. So I was just like, that's not a. I mean, it's a great stat, because if your competitors in your division can beat a team that's been struggling until Cam came there, and Cam just got. I mean, I don't know how true this. I think they got lucky. I think Arizona just said, it's the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton's back. Let's see if we can beat them without doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was Colt McCoy. I mean, he came back down to earth. We know about Colt McCoy.
Yes. He's not. I mean, in all honesty, I think this is going to be a true test for Cam, like a really true test for that Carolina team. Because in all honesty, I think our line is one of the, it's not getting that much recognized, but it's pretty decent. I mean, they could stop that defensive front. And my whole thing is, I'm an old school head. I like to run the ball. I mean, I don't see. I understand Scott Turner's offensive kind of scheme, but I think
he's supposed to be run heavy. He's supposed to be run heavy. So.
Right. So I just feel in this game, I think they need to go back to that run heavy, because if you look at Gibson, he gets like 5 yards a carry almost. I mean, average-wise, 5 yards a carry. So, in my opinion, until they stop that 5 yards, keep running the ball. And then that's when Heineke's at his best, where the play action and the RPOs, where you can confuse the linebackers, confuse the secondary to get the extra 10 yards if you need to. Because with Terry, they're going to double Terry. All game, they're going to double him in this game. And that's what I feel that, DeAndre Carter is going to have a huge, huge game this time, I think, because if you can't do it on the kickoff, they probably, or put him in the slot. I mean, or because my thing is, you got Humphreys and they're not using him, and they put a rookie in who fumbled the ball, which I was livid about. I thought we lost the game. In all honesty, I thought we lost the game right there, because when he fumbled that ball, I was like, what's the point in getting Humphreys, signing him to an X amount of deal where he's a proven slot receiver, and in that time, that's where you need your players to step up. And I'm going to tell you, I was like, oh man, I was about to use some 4-letter words, and I'm like, this game is Dunsky. I was so angry, but that shows the resilience of this team. They don't stop playing, and I think that Tampa game, as we stated before, is going to come back, and I think they're going to come here and they're going to win. So what is your prediction to the score, if you have not said so already?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about with the running game, I think first off, the opponents at the beginning of the season screwed us because it ruined our game plan. All right, the
Yeah.
Chargers are a really good team. The Bills are a really good team. In both those games, there were times where we ran it on first down, lost a 1 yard. Ran it on second down, no yards. 3rd and 12, and Heineke threw an interception. It's like that's why I felt like it ruined the game plan. Then for the next couple of games of the season, we kind of established it again against Tampa Bay. So hopefully we can keep it going. But against Tampa Bay, he only averaged like 2.9 yards a carry. He had 24 rushes for 64 yards, but it was like we stuck with it. And then in the fourth quarter, they were tired, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's the key is like start with it early. If it doesn't work, don't completely go away from it. We did some reverses and stuff, right? It's my dad's favorite play in the world when you run a reverse. and like sometimes it's great. Sometimes you lose 10 yards, but so I think it's all about like giving them different looks with runs. Throw in Jarrett Patterson, throw in JD McKissick, right? Give them different looks and keep trying to run the ball and set up like second and medium, third and short, and keep the offense on the field. But here's what I will say. If Carolina beats Washington, it's not Cam Newton. I think PJ Washington. PJ Washington, what is it? PJ Walker?
PJ Walker.
PJ Walker. PJ Walker would be the reason. I think he's going to be a big part of this game plan. I don't see Cam Newton taking more than 50% of his snaps.
Wow.
I think he's going to actually get in there a lot because he's been their starting quarterback for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. They're kind of used to him. And Cam Newton hasn't really fully developed the understanding of the playbook. So I think there's going to be a part of the game where PJ Walker leads a whole series down the field and maybe for a touchdown. And so that would be how Carolina beats us, in my opinion. Again, I'm not the biggest Cam Newton fan. So if he beats us, good hats off to him. But I've got Washington winning, we'll say 17-13, low scoring.
So you like the under then? Nice.
I do. Yeah.
13. Yeah. 2017.
Yeah, the thing with Carolina is they've got an outstanding pass rusher in Burns. So if they can contain Heineke in the pocket, keep him from freelancing and making those type of plays, that's going to be also their recipe for success. Keep pounding on offense, which is their slogan. Keep pounding. That's why Cam came back and he shouted that from the podium. So that they're going to try to grind it out and try to win a low-scoring game. So I like the under there too. That's a good call. So we've only got a couple minutes left here on our time here. I want to get into a couple of things, not sports related, more related to like your radio career. You said you've left Podbill now. When did that change happen? I thought you were still there without Oscar and those guys.
No. So I got a great job right now with Odyssey. I'm a full-time video producer for BetMGM Tonight.
Wow.
So I'm part of this BetQL network. We're promoting sports gambling. So you can watch it live on Twitch Monday through Friday from 7 to